Welcome to the Online Success Journey Podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey Podcast, Patience.
Hello everyone and welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 142. Are you ready to join the clan? Today we have Lorraine Reguly, author, consulting, coach, and a mentor. Lorraine's book, From Nope to Hope, is a self-help book designed to help anyone who wishes to lead a happier life and contains a built-in workshop. Hello, Lorraine.
I'm good. Thank you for having me on your podcast, Patience. How are you today?
I am good. I can see sunshine outside, so I'm really happy. So thank you for coming as well. Yeah.
Then you're luckier than I am because it's very gray and cloudy here.
Now I like it this way. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Send some sunshine my way, please.
It will come soon. Okay. I know the clan here is anxious to hear your story, so tell me about what you did before you started your own self-book writing and becoming an author.
Well, originally, back when I was a teenager, I was raped and I was a virgin at the time. So I was very devastated at the whole experience. And I didn't know how to deal with the trauma. And so I actually tried killing myself way back then when I was a teenager. And I also didn't have anyone to talk to about it. So I harbored that secret about what happened to me for about 8 years until I was in my 20s. And that was when I finally got counseling. In the meantime, in order to cope, I turned to drugs, drinking, eating. I fell into a deep depression. I went through some really, really hard times. And I also got involved with prostitution because I originally started becoming promiscuous and looking for love in all the wrong places. And that led to me getting involved with prostitution because I figured, well, if I'm giving it away for free, I might as well get paid for it. I became a single mom at the age of 18. And because I wanted to give my son a better life, I decided to finish schooling and go to university. And I became a math and English teacher. So I taught high school math and English for a few years. And I found that I wasn't really happy doing that. So I moved, I actually had to move away from my hometown in order to do that. So I quit my job. I moved back to my hometown where my family and friends were. And a few things happened after that. I got back into prostitution. I ended up in a really bad accident where I almost lost my leg. And because of the seriousness of the issue with my leg, I was unable to return to teaching high school. And so I had to find a different career path. And so what I did was I started looking into other options, and I bought a laptop and I started blogging online, and I decided to pursue my writing career. And within the first year of starting my website, I started freelance writing and getting paid to write for other people's websites. And the interesting part is that one of the articles I wrote for my site ended up ranking on the first page of Google. And it was all about my experience with suicide and how to basically overcome suicidal thoughts. And so that's what prompted me to write my book, From Nope to Hope, because that book is a book that contains all of the strategies and techniques that I ended up using as, like, I learned a lot of them in counseling. I learned a couple after I started blogging online, such as the positive affirmations, using positive affirmations to change your mindset. And so, yeah, so my life has been, a roller coaster journey of ups and downs. And I'm pleased to say I'm finally in a place now where I'm happy and I'm doing the things that I really enjoy, which is working with words. And that's why I started my own business called Wording Well. So I do freelance writing, editing. I help other people become authors. And I'm an author myself now as well.
Wow.
So that's my
What?
story in a nutshell.
Ah, what a rocky journey. What a journey. Ooh. But you
Yes,
managed it. You managed to come out of it. Wow, that's good.
yes, and that's the positive thing, because for so long, I just dwelled on my past and I really let it affect me in a negative way. But since I started my online journey with blogging and sharing my story with others, I've taken that negative and I've turned it into a positive by trying to be as helpful as I can be to other people. And they now see me as an inspiration and as a role model and as someone who gives hope to, both women and men alike who are out there who are or facing or have faced such traumatic experiences and want to overcome them and still get on with their life and, move on to capture or to, attain their dreams of doing whatever it is they want to do, whether it's, becoming an entrepreneur and starting their own business or, just becoming a happier person, whatever their dreams happen to be.
Wow. Hmm. Okay. You said you had counseling. Did you have like mentors also to help you go through this? How did you all of a sudden become a really a freelancer and a good writing and all this? Was this a natural thing in you? Is this a natural talent?
Writing is a natural talent of mine,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been reading and writing ever since I probably was about 4 or 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
My mother used to be a grade school teacher. She used to teach grade 1 and 2, and I was her firstborn child. When she had me, she quit teaching to stay at home with me full time, and so I benefited from her expertise on working with children, and she taught me how to read and write at a very young age. And so that's just been something that's been a passion of mine ever since I can remember. And so when I was in university, I actually wrote my first book, which was a book on poetry and poetry analysis. Canadian poets, Canadian poetry, analyzing 7 Canadian poems using the techniques that I learned in class. And so when my teacher when I submitted my book to my teacher, she said, this is good enough that it should be published. And so when I started blogging online, that was my original intent, was to kind of get my name known, get my name out there, so that I could write and publish even more books. But in the meantime, I got involved with freelance writing for other people, which was kind of nice because the money was immediate and I was able to, get paid right away for writing an article. But you asked about counseling, and I did get counseling. I started counseling in my early 20s. I think I was probably about 21 or 22. About 22, I think. And I saw a variety of counselors and psychologists. I haven't even ended up speaking with a psychiatrist at one point. I did go on different medication throughout the year to help with my depression. And There was one counselor that I worked with. She taught me about the books called the Courage to Heal books. And those books, it's a textbook and a workbook, and you kind of use them together. So you read one section in the textbook portion, and then you go to the workbook and you complete the exercises. So there's a lot of writing involved there. But writing is a really good form of therapy because it helps you to release your emotions and to release the negativity that you're feeling inside. And so actually, when I wrote my book, From Nope to Hope, I ended up including a built-in workbook in that book at the end of each chapter as well. I posed questions for the reader to answer, and I even provided space. If you get the printed book, I provide space for you to write in. And if you get the digital version from my website, not from Amazon, because Amazon doesn't, they have a different formatting for their digital version, but I do sell one version on my website where you can actually download a digital version that has an area that you can type in. And I actually had to hire a special formatter to make my digital version of that book typable so that people could actually, complete the exercises right in the book using their computer or tablet or phone, whatever device they happen to be using.
Okay. So how long did this counseling take you to really come clean and really focus on your writing and blogging and publishing your book? For people who are out there who are really struggling, also passing through this, so how long did it take?
It's funny because it took me years of counseling, and the strategies and techniques that I learned throughout those years were definitely helpful. But one of the things that helped me the most was something I discovered on my own after I started blogging, which was back in 2013. And I learned about positive affirmations and their power of their ability to change your mindset almost immediately, like within a week. And that was the technique that I found ended up having the most impact on my ability to become and stay positive. And so that book that I wrote, From Nope to Hope, it contains a chapter. It's actually chapter 8 that talks about how to change your mindset using positive affirmations. And I decided to make that chapter available for free on my website simply because I know that when people are depressed and they're looking for kind of a quick fix, that is the best strategy to use in order to see immediate results. I started using them back in about, I think it was 2014 when I discovered positive affirmations. And I started using them right away, even though I was skeptical at, how quickly they work or what kind of an effect they could have on you. And I started using them anyway because I figured, well, what do I have to lose? Nothing. And once I started using them, I only used them for about a week, and I started seeing results. And changes in my level of happiness, or actually I should say my level of depression, because I was very depressed when I started using them. I started noticing that I wasn't really depressed anymore. I was starting to become happy. My thoughts were changing from negative to positive, and the results were just amazing. And so the more I used them, the more happy I became. I also changed some of the affirmations that I was using into ones that were more suitable to my current lifestyle. So for example, once I opened my business, I started using the affirmation, a successful, strong, and independent woman lives inside of me. And today that woman is running my business. I deserve happiness. Success and abundance are natural outcomes for me. So like those are types of affirmations that I started using that pertain to my life once I started running my business. And it was just, there's just so many that I have that I use. Like, I mean, I have a whole list that I go through every day, and it's the power that they have to change your mindset and so that you can become happy and stay happy. It's just really, really incredible. And so that would be my suggestion for people who are currently facing a struggle or suffering trauma or trying to deal with something on their own. I would suggest starting with that strategy of using positive affirmations every day, because it's the most quick acting strategy that I have found. There's a lot of other really good strategies out there, and there's a lot of other ones that I included in my book as well. But there is a free article called How to Use Positive Affirmations to Improve Your Life. And this article talks all about what positive affirmations are. It talks about your mindset. It talks about how positive affirmations work. It talks about my personal history with positive affirmations and how positive affirmations help me in other areas of my life as well. It talks about the different types that there are, and it provides examples. There's even like a free downloadable checklist, plethora of information just in that one article alone. And yes, so I would suggest that people get started with positive affirmations right away. It's something that's going to change your life for the better almost immediately. So How to Use Positive Affirmations to Improve Your Life is the title of that article, and it is free on Wording Wow.
Okay, but does this work for like any level, even if somebody is like in a deep depression or for like maybe mild? So what kind of this affirmation would it work for?
Oh yeah, these work for everybody. And see, the reason why they work is because if we continually feed our subconscious mind with thoughts and even imaginary situations that depict our desired reality, our subconscious starts to believe it after some time. Usually it takes at least a week for it to start sinking in. But if you continue to use them on a daily basis, our subconscious then tries to make these inner scenarios match with our outer reality of life, which changes our thought processes. And so you can be going through anything at any different level. And if you start using these, once you start replacing your negative thoughts with positive ones, you will start having positive results.
Why did you decide to write a self-help book?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, I had written about my suicide attempt, and I shared a lot of tips about overcoming suicidal thoughts in that article, but it seemed like it wasn't enough. And I started getting comments on that blog post, and that article even ranked on the first page of Google. And I found that I was getting over 500 people a day reading that article. And I thought, oh my God, I can't believe there's that many people out there that are struggling, that are in the same boat as I was, and that just simply want to give up and kill themselves. And I thought, okay, like there's obviously a need for more information. Like I need to provide these people with more information and more tips and more techniques and more strategies that they can use to help them cope And so that's how come I wrote From Nope to Hope.
What makes you then an expert overcoming a suicidal or scandalous thoughts?
Well, even though I'm not a qualified counselor, I have been through many counseling sessions myself. I am a certified high school math and English teacher. And so I am university educated. And the fact that I have lived my life and have gone through so much, pardon my language, so much shit in my life, from being raped to doing drugs, to getting involved with prostitution, to being a single mom, to suffering both physical and mental abuse from, a boyfriend, to quitting school, to, doing like all of these things combined. The fact that I tried to kill myself once, all of these things, like I have been there. I know what that despair and hopelessness and depression feels like. I know what it's like to feel like there's no other option out there other than, like, let's just kill myself and end it all. But the thing is that people don't actually want to end their life. They want to end their pain that they're feeling. And they want to change their life into a life that's actually one that they like, that one that's worth living. And so that's what my book sets out to do, is to help people change their mindset and change their lives so that they can deal with whatever it is that they're going through and become a happier person.
But would you say that when you had your son, was it more that one helped you even more to change what you are today?
Actually, yes, because I wanted to give my son a really good life. And every time I had suicidal thoughts and got so stressed out that I couldn't deal with anything, I would always think, well, I can't kill myself because then what's my son going to do? He's going to be all alone. And so I did stop myself from killing myself many times just because of thinking about my son and thinking like, I can't leave him alone. I cannot leave him motherless. I have to be here for him. And so, yes, my son has changed my life, and he has saved my life on more than one occasion. So he was a strong motivating factor as well, yes.
But can anyone really get over this by just using these affirmations or using counseling? Or do you have something else that we can add in? Because
Oh,
sometimes we don't have, like, some people don't have families, or they don't trust their friends, and they're like, if I talk to my friend about this, they are going to laugh about me. So I just want to keep it to myself. So what advice would you give them?
well, so in my book, there's more than just the chapter on affirmations. There's a chapter on temporary and long-term coping strategies to use. There's another chapter on how to identify your emotions and release negativity from your life. And sometimes that includes separating yourself from people, even in your family, who are not really good for you, who are no longer, part of your support system. And it shows you, like, it teaches you how to build up a positive support system in your life. There's another chapter on how to form healthy habits, one step at a time. Another chapter on how to improve your self-image. There's a chapter on how to create your path to a happier life, how to assess your growth, how to put your plan into action by setting and attaining goals, how to conquer procrastination, how to make your happiness last, how to use meditation, the law of attraction, and visualization to build a life that you want. There's, like I said, there's a ton of different things in my book that are all designed to help someone deal with their current situation and improve it.
So let's say someone hasn't got your book yet. Is there one thing you can tell them where to start, how to move forward?
Well, like I said, I would begin with using positive affirmations, and that's one of the chapters that's free on my website. There's actually another chapter that I do give away for free, and it's about using meditation, the law of attraction, and visualization to get what you want out of life. And that's something that I couldn't even believe the power of the visualization technique. But it helped me take my dream vacation. And so I totally believe in it now because it was one of the strategies I used just for that. So, I mean, that's another chapter that's also free on my website, and it's called Use Meditation, the Law of Attraction, and Visualization to be more successful.
What helped you to really build your image?
My self-image? Well, there was a few different things that I did. One of the things involved using positive affirmations to remind myself that I am a good person, a beautiful person, a helpful person, that I deserve happiness no matter what anyone else says. Another thing is removing negativity from my life. So, for example, my father is a big source of negativity in my life. He always picks on me and degrades me and berates me, and it basically just makes me feel like, 1 inch tall. And so what I've done is that even though I haven't eliminated him from my life completely, because he does live with my mother, and I do love my mom a lot. She's a great lady. What I've done is I've tried to ignore what he says, ignore him when he speaks to me. When he does start getting carried away and out of hand, I've learned to speak back to him and to stand up for myself. Because my confidence level has changed. And so now I am more confident in the fact that I do not deserve to be treated like shit. I deserve to be treated with respect. And so I tell him that, despite any of my past choices that he may not have liked, I am not that person anymore. I am a happier, successful person now who has goals, who is meeting them, and who is working hard to be the best version of herself that she can be. And so I tell him these things, and he completely changes his tune. He totally changes the way he treats me, and he starts treating me better. So, removing that negativity and turning it into something that's more positive is something that definitely has helped improve my self-image. I've gained a lot more confidence by doing that, and it really has changed my life and my outlook.
What have you learned from business as an author?
Well, there's a lot of things that are involved when you're an author, because especially if you're a self-published author, because you have to market your books yourself. You have to, try and get the word out about your books so that people know who you are. It involves doing a lot of guest posting on other people's websites so that you can reach new audiences. It involves going on different podcasts, such as me coming on yours today, just to, try and reach different audiences and new audiences that you haven't, reached before. So there's a lot of responsibilities involved. And then as a freelancer and someone who runs a business, there's a lot of responsibilities involved in that aspect as well, because There's the actual running of the business and the bookkeeping and the record keeping and, paying your taxes, and there's the money side of it. And then there's also the social side where you have to be on social media and you have to write blog posts and share them. And I mean, there's a ton of responsibilities involved. So it's not easy, but it's manageable. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of work involved when you run your own business. And if you're a solopreneur, such as myself, I mean, I do everything myself. So it can get to be a bit much sometimes. So what I do is I try and find a balance each week by only doing like certain things on certain days so that I'm not all over the place and getting overwhelmed all the time. So for example, one day it'll be, post something on social media that relates to my editing business, especially if I'm looking for editing work at the time. I just kind of tie it into whatever it is that I'm currently going through. Like right now, I'm in the middle of a big editing project, so I don't want any more editing work. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to focus the social media part on like sharing information about my book and, trying to direct people's attention elsewhere. And, if I do happen to get pitches for editing, well, that's just, that just comes through my email anyways. But I'm not actually promoting the fact that I'm doing writing and editing. Because I like I said, right now I'm in the middle of a big editing project, and I don't like to work on multiple editing projects at the same time because I like to devote myself to one book at a time. If it's something short, sure, I can accept, doing like a short project of like 25,000 words or less. But if you're talking a novel, I'm not going to work on two novels at the same time. So that's how I try and find a balance between, what I'm doing in my life and then what I'm doing with social media. And then the bookkeeping stuff, I've learned to limit it to basically one section of the month where I record everything, because most of my income comes through PayPal. And, so that those records are there for me to look at no matter which day of the month I open my PayPal account. They're always going to be there. So I just take, a couple of days at the end of, usually the end of the month to record all of my income and expenses and everything. And then that way, when I do my income and expense report, and I know how much money to set aside to pay for my taxes and things like that. That's that only happens at one period of the month, whereas the rest of it, it's working and promoting and using social media and writing blog posts and doing everything else that I do. So I've gotten into a pretty good groove now.
Okay. What is one thing that has contributed to your success?
Probably my determination to succeed. I'm a very competitive type of a person, and failure is just not an option for me. And so I work hard, and I am determined to do whatever it takes in order for me to feel like I'm, moving in the right direction and that I'm achieving my goals. Another thing that has impacted me a lot are my fans and followers. They have expressed their feelings towards me and how they look up to me as a source of inspiration and motivation. And so what I do now is when I post on, particularly it's Facebook, when I post on Facebook, I will use the two hashtags, inspiration and hashtag motivation, at the beginning of my post. And I'll just often just include a one-line quote or a one-line sentence that basically gets them to think about what they're doing. And those are the types of things that I never used to do, but in my role now as as a role model and source of inspiration for other people. It's something I started doing. And I'll just give you an example of what I wrote. I think it was yesterday. I put, I am in competition with no one. I am simply a better person than I was yesterday. The moral, be the best version of yourself that you can be. Hashtag motivation, hashtag inspiration. Here's another one. Hashtag motivation, hashtag inspiration. Accept your past without regret. Handle your present with confidence and face your future without fear. And then I put hashtag quote from a Simple Capacity video because that's where I found it on Facebook. The day before that, I put I used a quote from Jocko Willink, who is an army guy that inspires people to, go after their dreams every day. And on Instagram, I follow him, and he had put, the longer you wait, in capital letters. He wrote the last part. And when you think about it, it's true. The longer you wait, like when you're procrastinating, the longer you wait. I mean, it's simple. Like, you're never going to reach your goals unless you do something about it. So I put that down to, get people thinking about what they're doing too. Because really, when you think about your goals and what you want to achieve in life, you need to take action if you're going to meet them. And if you're procrastinating all the time, well, then you're not going to meet your goals. And you know what? You are going to end up with having regrets. Here's another quote that I shared. Don't watch the clock. Do what it does. Keep going.
Wow. That is powerful.
Right. So this is something that, that I've incorporated into my life now because, I've embraced the fact that I am a source of inspiration for other people who just need that extra little push during their day. And so, I never, 5 years ago, I never used to share stuff like this on anywhere. And now this is something that I've incorporated into my weekly life.
Okay. Tell us where we can find your book and how we can contact you.
Okay, so my book is called From Nope to Hope. It is sold on Amazon as both a digital version and a print version that you can order. It's also available at a discounted rate on my website, Wording Well. And Wording Well also has a contact page that lists all of my different social media accounts so people can find me and connect with me wherever they're most comfortable, whether it happens to be Twitter or Facebook or email, whatever way that they want to contact me. I am very accessible. I am very out there and open and honest and available. And that's something that you don't always see online with people. But I am a very social person, and so I welcome contact, whether it's just like a simple sentence like, hey, I heard your podcast, thanks for inspiring me. Or, hey, I listened to you the other day and I like what you said about, don't watch the clock, just do what it does and keep going. Because I don't want to have regrets in my life. Whatever people want to, however they want to contact me or speak to me is fine with me. My website is probably the best starting point, and it's wordingwell.com. And it's exactly as it sounds. Wording Well. WORDINGWELL.com. So wordingwell.com is the best place. And it even, if you go to wordingwell.com, you will see in the menu bar the contact page there. So people should be able to find me no matter what. And if they have Googling from Nope to Hope, I do have an author website called LorraineReguly.com. And that lists all, my books that I've written, the ones that are available. So LorraineReguly.com or wordingwell.com are the two best places to, initially start contact with me.
Okay, thank you. So, Clan, there will be more from Lorraine in a moment. If you are listening on one of the many podcast platforms rather than my website and you are encouraged by Lorraine's journey, go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for a bonus portion of the interview. The Online Success Journey is a wonderful membership community built for people searching for the path to success. We are one big clan and you can be part of this community for free. Once you have joined the clan, click on part 2 of Lorraine's journey or over 100 other journeys that are available and learn how you can find the right path for your own online success journey. That's a wrap, clan. Remember, success is a journey. Patience and Lorraine.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to part 1 and want to be sure you know there is a second part to this and every journey podcast at onlinesuccessjourney.com, filled with even more success tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. There are dozens of episodes only available to the members of the Online Success Journey clan. Check out the website and click on Join the Clan for more information. Patience would like to thank you for listening to this podcast, and she has a free audio gift for you at her website. Go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for instant access to this gift. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the Online Success Journey and to listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review it at Stitcher and other sites by clicking the stars or completing the ratings form, by clicking the thumbs up and leaving a comment on YouTube, or liking and sharing the podcast on social media. To review the podcast within iTunes, simply open iTunes to the podcast, click on Ratings and Reviews, then write a review. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.